This interview with Lilian Woods was conducted on the 29th of September 2015. Her life is a valued record of love, hard work and helping others. Tell me what London was like when you were a little girl.
Oh, it was nothing like it is now. I always remember boys on bicycles doing their jobs during lunch hour, whistling on bicycles, passing our house and delivering their goods for the shops.
What sort of house was it that you lived in?
Well, it was a very nice house, but it was joined, a street that the houses were joined together. We had a kitchen and a bathroom and 3 stories, because I had 2 sisters and eventually 2 brothers as well. So we all lived into this little house. It had a front room which was called the parlour, and then the back room which was joined onto the kitchen. My father was in the merchant navy, so he wasn't always there.
Okay. Did your father serve in the First World War?
Well, I think he must have done, because he was in one of the services anyway.
I see. And did you have a happy time in that house?
Yes, we were all very happy together. Thank you. My brothers were fun, but they were quite much younger than I was. But we had a good time together. Eventually, my mother died, and us 3 girls went into a home in Birmingham.
And that was an industrial city, as I understand?
Yes, but it was a very nice home, and we were all very happy there.
Okay, who did you live with there?
And we used to go out to school every day, and there was one thing I didn't like at all. Once a year we had to go out and collect food. Well, people came and they put food into a container that we carried, and I used to hate that.
Why did you hate that?
Because I felt so poor and didn't like having to get people to provide food for me. Oh, it was a proper home.
I see.
Home, yes. And we all had our own beds, girls, and there were boys there too, and the girls had separate department, and when we, after school age, I don't know whether I'm jumping too soon, after school age we were girls trained for 3 years. We stayed there for 3 years. In those days, school was finished at 14 years. So we had a year learning cooking, kitchen work, housework and laundry work. 3 years we stayed, and then we were put out into the country, into a job somewhere. I was very, very lucky, because one of the gentlemen on the board of the school, his daughter had married a professor at Oxford, and I was sent, my first job, I was sent out to look after 2 of their little girls. And that's my first job.
So you were like a nanny to those children?
I was the nanny to those 2 girls. And when I was there, a boy came. I think that was why they wanted a nanny for the girls, because she was expecting again. And so a little boy came, and that boy still writes or gets in touch with me. And he would have liked to come out for my 100th birthday, but he had to have some surgery done on one of his legs, and he was not able.
Oh, that's a wonderful story, Lilian. That's a wonderful
We've
story.
just had a visitor now from Canada, a boy that I looked after when he was a baby.
So we've moved from London to Birmingham. We've been looking after some children.
At Oxford.
At Oxford? That was at Oxford. What did you do for fun? How did you entertain yourself?
How did I entertain myself? I don't remember what I did.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yes.
Tell me, did you like to dance?
Did I?
Did you like to dance?
I never did anything like that. No, I never went to a dance at any time until I lived in here. One of Jeff's got a brother who lives here, and we were having a party, and he got me up and walked me around the room. That's the only time I've ever danced. When I was in Oxford, he lived in a village, Kidlington. I think there's a Kidlington here now, not very far from where I lived, and that's where we met.
Okay. Were you married in England?
Yes.
Tell me about your wedding.
Wasn't very exciting. I was married in a registry office because he was a Roman Catholic and I wasn't. And but we had a nice wedding, and all my family were there, and it was quite a happy wedding.
Do you enjoy to live here in Australia, in Giroa? Are you happy here?
Oh, I love it here. It's just the right sort of place for retirement, I think, for somebody as old as me. And I go out to 2 groups, one on Monday and one on Friday.
Do you feel that you get good care here?
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
That's
Couldn't
wonderful.
be better.
That's
My
wonderful.
Kate and Jeff are wonderful at home, and when I go out to these 2 groups, they all seem to be so pleased to see me.
I can understand that. I can understand that. Tell me this, when you look back, is there anything that stands out over that past 100 years that is really an interesting story, or something that's really stayed in your mind?
Stayed in my memory.
I mean, there must be so many things.
Well, it's only a little thing, but I know one thing, that when I was in Oxford, with those 2 little girls, I was sitting upstairs and suddenly I heard the doctor calling out, "Day, you've got a son. Your son's arrived." And that's always stuck in my memory. I make Christmas cards and birthday cards.
Ah, tell me, Lilian, is this the type of card that you make?
Yes,
That's wonderful.
but I have help because my fingers, I do sticking and that sort of thing. And Kate prepares them before I go. And I have a very nice girl, a lady, who always sits with me. And so,
That's wonderful. And I think it's nice to have a card that's not just bought in a shop, that has something personal.
yes, we don't buy any cards. I make enough to send. When the lady that comes to sit me on Wednesday, she comes for 3 hours, and she will prepare these. We have their sheets which have to be pressed out, each piece. They are to make the cards, and all numbered at the back so that when we get them to put together, they have to go in the right order. And she likes doing that very much.
Great.
That's
And
part of the thing she does when she's sitting here.
this is part of Bay and Basin Community Resources.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's fine. I think it's just been wonderful talking with you. You look remarkably sort of sprightly for 101. My goodness. How do you feel about being 101? Tell me that.
Well, I hope when you put it all together, it comes out nicely. I'm sure it will.
It will.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's enough. I don't want to tie me too much. You look like you could go on forever. Lilian, thank you very much. That's lovely.
Thank you very much for coming.